guys, I've been seeing everyone do this tag, so I decided that I was gonna do it, and it's called the most read authors tag, or the most read authors that you have read. The way that you do it is you go to Goodreads and you go to your books, and there's like on the bottom of the page there is a little link that says most read authors, and you can look at all the authors that you read. So I decided to choose my top 10. I did go through those lists and actually update them, so this is like accurate now because I did read a lot of books before I got Goodreads. But the first category is 23 books, and there it is a tie between two authors, and that is both Sarah Shepard and Rick Riordan. I have read 23 of their books, and that includes the Pretty Little Liars series and um, the twin one. It's like Perfect Lies, I think. It's the one with Sutton and The Lion Game is what it's called because there was a TV show about it for 2 seasons, with Sutton and Emma. So I read both those series. I desperately want to start the Amateur series, which is another book series from her. And I also have The Perfectionist on my shelves. I've read book 1. I still have to read book 2. Rick Riordan is no surprise. I have read every single book that he has, except for The Greek Heroes, even though I do own it. And I love these. I think Rick Riordan is probably one of my favorite authors in general. I just love how he uses myth to create stories for kids, and they are just so much fun to read about. Sarah Shepard writes very interesting mysteries. I would say she's generally like a 3.4 author, but overall I really like it, and I cannot wait to dig into this one. And I do have the sequel book called Follow Me that I got as an ARC from BookCon. But these are my top 2 authors, and I have read 23 books each. Oh, I also, hold on, let me retract that. Hold on, I think, okay. I read 25 by Sarah Shepard, sorry. 23 by Rick Riordan, and then my top author, which is really no surprise, but it's not YA, is the Joanne Fuqua series, the Hannah Swanson series, and I have read 25 of her books. I started reading the series on a whim, and they're all mysteries that based around this baker, and she winds up selling them, talking about them a while. I've been reading for about 2.5 years, and I'm finally all caught up. But they're really fun. If you're looking for a really easy read, the mysteries I think get stronger as the series goes on. The first couple were pretty weak, but then the new one actually I think comes out in October or November. And the last cliffhanger was kind of surprising, so I'm excited to see where the series goes. But overall, I really like the series. If you're looking for kind of a little bit of a cozy mystery, I do recommend them. And they also are being made into TV movies on the Hallmark Channel, so that's another thing. But she's technically my highest author because I've read 25 of her books. The next author, according to Goodreads, I have read 19 of her books, but I have a funny story about that, but it is Cassandra. I will say this, I really do like Cassandra Clare. I think she builds a very impressive world, and I really love both series. I love the Mortal Instruments series. I think I'm learning to really love it as I listen to the audiobooks. I'm now on Heavenly Fire, but I think that The Infernal Devices has one of the most well-crafted love triangles I've ever read. So if you read the Mortal Instruments series and just was not impressed or didn't really get the ending of book the Heavenly Fire, I would definitely recommend you read The Infernal Devices because it's a really good story and it makes the end a little bit better. But the reason I say it's not totally accurate is that when Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy came out, I counted them all as individual books because I was reading them as the story went on and not like as a bind up. But they are now called Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy, so 10 of those stories technically are just one book. But that's how Goodreads counts it. So, technically, I have read 19 stories from Cassandra Clare. I wouldn't say I read 19 books. But that's okay. I really like it, and I'm so excited to continue on with the series and eventually start the Dark Artifices. So, yeah, that is my Cassandra Clare spiel. The next author I'm going to talk about is Tamar Pierce. Last year, I embarked on the Tamora Pierce reread with my friends Emily and our little group, and I really enjoyed it. I have never read Tamora Pierce before, and I really, really loved a majority of the series. I think my favorite series is still Kel's story, but I really did love Alana, and I loved Becca as an audiobook. They're just such strong female characters, and I know we're getting some new books in that world, in the Tortola world, and I'm so excited to get my hands on them. But that was a really, really fun read, and I have read all together 17 books by Tamora Pierce. The next author that I'm going to talk about is Richelle Mead, and I have read 15 of her books. Richelle Mead wrote the infamous Vampire Academy series and the Bloodline series, and she also has a new series, which is the Jewel series. She also had a standalone called Soundless, and I have read all of those. I have not read the Midnight Jewel yet, haven't got around to it. I wasn't that impressed with the Glittering Court, but I'm hopeful Midnight Jewel will be a little bit better. I really enjoyed the Vampire Academy series, and that was the one series that turned me around on vampires. I loved it so much. I loved both leads a lot. I really did enjoy Bloodlines. I think Vampire Academy is still probably my favorite, but I really did enjoy both series. I really loved her standalone Soundless. Glittering Court let me down a bit, but I'm willing to give Midnight Jewel a second chance. But those are all the books that I read by Richelle Mead. If you're looking for kind of a unique taste on vampires, I highly recommend the Vampire Academy. And then Bloodlines when you're finished with the Vampire Academy, because there are spoilers. But yeah, so that's all my thoughts on Richelle Mead. The next author I'm going to talk about is Katie McGarry, and I have completed the Pushing the Limit series, and I've read all the novellas in time with that series, and I also have read the entire Thunder Road series. I love her. I think she's definitely one of my favorite contemporary authors because I think all her stories are so unique and so different. Some of my top favorites, I really loved Long Way Home in this series. I adore Dare You To, and I love Chasing the Impossible. Those are my three favorites, but I really loved Katie McGarry. I'm so excited for her new book. It comes out in January, and it's about a whole new set of characters, and I really hope I get my hands on it soon, or I will just have to wait endlessly until January. She's also one of the she's also one of the few authors, a couple other ones that I haven't met on this list. So she's on my to meet list one day because she's so awesome. But yeah, if you have not checked out her books, I highly recommend it. She's a really fun contemporary author. All her series deal with harder issues. The characters in her first series, most of them are foster kids, and the second series has some politics about motorcycle gangs. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed both series, and I highly recommend them. This next one is by no surprise to anyone, and it is 8 books by her. It's the Harry Potter books, which is 8 books. I know she has wrote a bunch of other ones, and I'm in the middle of a reread, so they're not quite on this list yet, but they will be there eventually. But I have read 8 books by Harry Potter. It's probably more like 10 that I've read by Harry Potter because I've read Beetle and the Bard, Quidditch Through the Ages, The Cursed Child, I guess you could technically count as well, and the other Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. So I have read all those. They're just not on Goodreads yet, but they will by the end of this year. They will all be on Goodreads. But I really love this series. I don't have to tell you guys about my love of Harry Potter, and ironically, I'm filming this on 19 Years Later, which is in 2017. This is when the epilogue takes place in Deathly Hallows. So happy 19 years later, friends. But yeah, so this is definitely one of my favorite series. I have not met J.K. Rowling. I think she's probably the only author that I would literally drop whatever I'm doing to meet her. So take that. But I really love the series. Maybe one day I'll do, when I'm finished with my entire reread with Alohomora, maybe I'll do a video about my thoughts about the whole series, because I read the series from when I was about in 5th grade to when I was a senior and when I was a college freshman. So it's a really, really long stretch of my life. But overall, I really love the series. I don't think I need to tell you guys on Harry Potter, but it still holds such a special place in my heart. And happy 19 years later, guys. The next author is an author that I have read 8 books by, and that is Alexandra Bracken. I have read the entire Darkest Mind series and all the e-novellas that go along. I think I'm missing one e-novella, and I will get it when I reread this series once the movies come out, which I'm so excited for. This is probably one of my favorite dystopian series. I think I have a lot of really, really nice dystopian series, but this is probably one of my favorite. Alexandra Bracken's writing just really entranced me. I also have read her entire Passenger series, and I'm about to start her middle grade series, so I'm going to be adding some more books to this list. And I still haven't read her Star Wars novel tie-in that she wrote a couple of years ago about Luke and about Princess Leia. I'm really excited to dig into that as well. But yeah, I love Alexandra Bracken, and I'm really excited to read her new series soon and eventually see the movie. But definitely, Darkest Minds is probably one of my favorite dystopian series of all time. The last book I'm going to talk about, or the last author that I'm going to talk about, is Marissa Meyer, and I have read 7 books by her. I have completed the entire Lunar Chronicle series. I have also read Heartless, which is a book she came out last year, and um, oh, yeah, Heartless and the series, and Stars Above as well. And I'm really excited for Renegades that's come out in November. That will definitely be added to this list. But I really, really love her fairy tale retelling. It always is like a twist and a trick. I really want to reread the Heartless series. I'm not Heartless. I really want to reread the Cinder series. Justin, a friend of mine, is doing that now, and I might try to re-listen to them because I heard the narrators are really good, and it's been a while. And I just love the cast of characters. I think Cress is probably my favorite book, but I also really did enjoy Winter. But yeah, so that is all of my most read authors. Why don't you guys comment below about what your most read authors are? I would be highly intrigued to see who you guys have been reading. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!